So in this new patch, the VK.72.01 got some pretty hefty buffs. The dispersion on it has been improved overall. The reloading time has been decreased from 22 to 20 seconds. The aiming time also got improved heavily from 3.4 to 2.9. The penetration on it got buffed from 235 to 246, which is really nice. The ammo capacity got improved from 24 to 35, which in my opinion is pretty significant. Now the only drawback that you get with all of these buffs is the top speed, which has been reduced from 43 to 33 kilometers per hour, which is kinda disappointing in my opinion, because this tank could reach this speed on flat ground, and going downhill, this tank going 43 kilometers per hour was really nice, because you could ram a lot of stuff with your weight. Now that won't be as prominent as it was, but nonetheless it will be still possible. Moving on, the armor on it got overall improved by quite a significant amount. The upper glacis got buffed from 200 to 240, which is really nice. The little strip area between the upper and lower plate got also buffed from 200 to 300 millimeters, which means that applying little angling or some angling, your mid plate kinda won't be penned as much as it used to be. And also the lower plate got buffed from 200 to 230 millimeters. So overall the tank got some really nice buffs. Other than the top speed reduction, this tank got buffed in pretty much every single area, which means that this tank now will be more competitive than it used to be. The differences between the VK and the Panzer VII really aren't that big. Other than the gun difference and some marginal power to weight differences and gun traverse differences, which is better on the Panzer VII, it's pretty much the same tank with a different gun. However, the VK does have more DPM because of this alpha damage, which is 750, 560 being on the Panzer VII. As we see here, the reload time is better, the rate of fire is better, but just because of this alpha damage, that bumps up the DPM of the VK quite a lot. Now, the dispersion is better on the Panzer VII by 0.3, which is quite significant, and also the aiming time is better, and that combined with this overall better dispersion, you can definitely feel the difference between these two guns aim wise, and those are pretty much differences. And the other one significant difference is in the shell velocity, which is way better on the Panzer VII, and the ammo capacity is better on the Panzer VII, but that doesn't really matter. So the two tanks are pretty much the same with different guns, and I'll be showing you two replays comparing these two tanks, and you decide which one do you think it's more superior. Here we are joined by Skyrada199 in his Panzer VII. He's playing an Arctic region. It's a pretty heavy tier 10 game, just because there are quite a lot of heavies on each side, and with quite a nice amount of heavy, or rather super heavy tanks. And oh, hold on, here I forgot to enlarge the map here. This is a little bit too big. Let's just make it a bit smaller. There we go. And he's going down to the south region of the map, and which is usually the heavy corner of the map, in which all of the heavies go. It's a bit of a bad decision to go here if your team doesn't have as much heavies as necessary. For example, the enemy team has more heavies and such. So in this situation, however, it was pretty acceptable because he has teammates supporting him. And yeah, this M103, he's in an interesting position because there's no artillery, so that position is usable. I don't think it's really that prominent, but I guess you can go there and try to abuse the gun depression that tank has, which I think is 7 or 8 degrees. But however, this M103 does do some misplays. For starters, if you're gonna use that position, you don't want to expose your roof, which was pretty bad. But second of all, you shouldn't be staying still like this M103 is doing here. You want to move as much as you possibly could, because you're trying to make them miss your cupola. You don't want them to shoot you in your cupola, giving them the best shots possible. You just want to move backwards and forwards as much as you can, wiggle if you can, so that the enemy doesn't have a clear shot on your cupola. As you see there, he's staying still. He shouldn't be doing that. He should be moving back and forth, making the enemies aim. As you see there, he's doing it there a little bit. That's what he should have been doing all along. But here, I'd say that Sky Rider does get pretty lucky with that shot, because it went straight above the gun. So a little bit lucky there with his RNG. But now he has to fight a few super heavies. The two mice, I guess, if you want to be grammatically correct about it, and an IS-4. Right there, he doesn't penetrate the lower plate. I think it got buffed in this patch. So he will decide to load some premium rounds here, which is acceptable because his thinner rounds are inefficient, so he wants to make his shots count. Nonetheless, they're pushing forward here, as they should be doing, because the up north area is looking really sketchy right now. The grill here, I'm not sure what he's doing. He moved across the field. I guess he wanted to use a rock position there, but it wasn't really wise to do that. This mouse, also what he should be doing different, this mouse, is he should be going also backwards and forwards. Here he was just turning his turret on the side and he was going backwards, but he should be going backwards and forwards as well. I'm not sure why he is backing up here. He should just remain on the corner and try to go back and forth while he's reloaded, then he fires his shot and such, but he just does a misplay here. And as you notice there, the grill shot him in the lower plate and the engine got damaged. Now that used to happen frequently on the VK.72.01, and I'm not sure if it got buffed, because in the stats it said that the VK has better module health than the Panzer VII, so that's something to take in account. And now the enemies are pushing the north. It's looking dodgy. His team has been sorta pushed into this corner, and that's where all of his team is, basically on the south area of this map. So they need to push forward here. He takes a shot, doesn't even track the guy, it only crits him, which I think it should crit. I think that 120 plus guns should always track, unless it's a, E100 they're shooting at, but I guess the tracks on the grill are wide and they do have a bit of health on them, so nonetheless he's pushing forward here. He could be getting shot by the Emil in the side. He does get shot at, but it seems that the Emil has the stock gun from the Emil 1. He rams the grill after shooting him, and now he's pushing forward. The Emil does have some of the heaviest armor in the game and being held down, but he pushes forward, which negates all of it. The hull is made out of cheese, so you should be trying to stay held down as much as possible, because when you're not, you're just gonna get penned. Shooting at the RU there, I guess he hit the tracks, so he didn't do anything there. He's pushing up on this Emil, and I'm not sure what the enemy team is doing there in his base, that E5 or the other Emil. They're on full health and they're just giving the opportunity for Ryder's team here to come back. He tracks the Type 4 there, doing nothing else, which is a bit of a disappointment, but he's trying to engage this Emil. He should be really ignoring him, because I don't think he cannot get up there anymore, but he's not a threat. Nonetheless, he tracks him anyway. He's getting shot by the E5 here, and the armor being, I guess, buffed, you could say, because the VK, the old VK had not really that good armor. So you can bounce more shells now. I'm kind of comparing it to the old VK, and he does track this E5 here, and the E5 is just doing a big misplay. He's tracked out in the open. He shouldn't have picked to begin with, but he did anyway. A bit disappointing here that he tracks him only, and he's still bouncing, so I guess the E5 is still pretty strong, even though the cupola was nerfed, but nonetheless. Raida did some pretty good job this game. He's up to 6k damage right now. He managed to track him and pin him in place. His ally, however, doesn't. I think he didn't pin that shot, so a bit of a downside. E5 is full down here. He lows HE, expecting that the E5 will remain there so that he can shut him down. But the E5 seems to be interested in something else. He was on his side. The E50M could have probably shut him down if he remained in the same position, but he didn't. The E50, so the E5 gets away scot-free. And Mills now suddenly appears out of nowhere, and he has HE loaded, so that's a bit of a downside. But nonetheless, it wasn't really a misplay by Sky Raida here. He crits him, he pins him in place. So Sky Raida did a really good job here, 6.4k damage and 1.6k assist. So here we go. This is the second game in the VK now, and this is played by me. I don't have the Panzer VII just yet. I'm working on it, but I just used another replay from another fella that I found on the What Replays. But here we are in the VK, and they did give you a sort of a camo, I guess, but it's, as you see there, it's just a bit dirty. I have it here. Basically, they just smothered a lot of dust and dirt on it, and the camo is called, quote, veteran, quote. So I don't know, I would like at least a little bit of color on it, I guess, but right now it just looks dirty. That's the initial impression I got from this this skin. But nonetheless, that VK on our team was sort of staring me down, I guess. I'm not sure what he was thinking. I guess it's the first time seeing this tank or something. But I'm going to this hold down position on El Haluf on, I guess, B2, B3, so I can work my gun depression, which is towards the side is pretty good, so I'll be trying to use that. And it's a standard game. There's 3 tier 10s per side, so it's not really that heavy of a tier 10 game. And as you see here, I'm trying to use my side gun depression. I didn't quite find the angle yet. I'm working on it. So you should be trying to use that when you're in your Panzer VII. Just use the side, just angle a bit and use your side gun depression, so to speak, your side gun depression, quote unquote, which is better than your frontal one. I just decided to move up on this 260 here. I wanted to trade with him, but in the end it turns out that I just damage him and he doesn't pen me. IS-4 hits my rangefinder, and right now here you see I managed to get my gun depression on the side. I definitely couldn't get it on the front in that position, so the 260 gets frustrated there. He loads some heat. I guess he wants to pen his shots, and here the T-30 is looking at me. I'm moving up back and forth, and right now a skill that I use here that I learned is press R once, so your aiming time doesn't go all over the place and it just moves you slowly. So I managed to get that shot without losing too much aim, which is something that you should be using if you're in a position to do so. This M103 only tracks me. I do a lot of damage to him. No, really, I kinda low roll there, 706. But I noticed from what I heard he had a 105 mil. He didn't say there anything, but just by listening to the gun sound I can tell that he's not using the top gun. I think it's a, yeah, so it's a 105 on the T32, so he's using the stock gun and he really cannot pen me there. I know, as you can tell, he really cannot do much to me unless he's firing a PCR. Even then it's a little bit on the dodgy side. If I angle, can he pen me? So and right now I'm just pushing up forwards. The 260 has been reduced to low health. I just want to get in there and get some damage, because that's what you should do when you're top tier. In most of your heavy tanks, in your mediums, you want to push the tempo of the game. You want to be the one influencing the game. And when you're not top tier, you should be really just trying to support your top tiers, hope they're competent enough. I do have a video on that on my channel, so I'm gonna leave it at the end of the video, so you can go ahead and check that out if you want. It's the last game in the video played by me in a T44-100. Anyway, I'm moving up forwards on this IS-3 now. I know I could just bully him because I think he doesn't have the top gun here. Well, actually he does have the BL9, but he just cannot pen me. I was assuming that because he was stuck. I was trying to mess with the STI here, but I noticed this guy really wants to have some piece of me, so I'm just like, okay, you want to play like that, I'm just gonna shut you down. And I was ignoring him because I do have all of my hit points pretty much, so I could take a hit from him, and I just wanted to shoot the STI because he has more health. And right now I'm just pushing up. As you see here, the 33 kilometers per hour top speed is kind of limiting here, which I kind of dislike, because previously I could have probably could have came way quicker to this position than I did right now. But right now he's just showing me the side of his turret, so I just showed him in that. And like I said, I could have probably been further up. I could have probably even killed the Emil if I reached the Emil if I had my top speed. But nonetheless, the overall buffs to this tank are really welcome, and that's my game. 6.3k damage.